So, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you're probably, you've heard all the Treo ads. This podcast is run by Treo. It's made by Treo Realtors. They're a real estate company. But what does Treo actually stand for? Well, I don't know if anyone actually knows, but I've got a few suggestions what I think it might be. It could be Tree Removal and Excavation Operation, 10 Red Elephant Orgy, Terror Right Extremist Organization, Top Real Estate Organization, or the Really Evil Oprahs. No one really knows what Treo stands for. Not even Brett Keppler, the founder himself. But what I do know, and what you should know, is that Treo Realtors is still getting it done. Things might be bad out there. Things might be scary. You might be sick. Your friends might be sick. But you can still buy and sell your houses in a safe and efficient manner. That's right, folks. Treo Realtors has still been selling houses and dealing houses and helping your house get sold. In some cases, 100+% of the listing price. We have one house sold March 30th with 1 day on the market, another March 30th with just 10 days on the market, another with even less than that. So Treo is still getting it done in a safe and efficient manner. No one's going to get sick, and maybe, just maybe, we'll tell you what it stands for. But for now, we won't. So, as always, head to TreoRealtors.com with any of your buying and selling home needs. And also, if you're interested in sponsoring this podcast, email us, thisweekincincinnati.com, and we will hook you up with this nice, wonderful spot right at the beginning of the podcast. And with that, on with the show.
For the week of April 5th, 2020. Is that the right date? I don't know. Oh, this is part of the show, just so you know.
That was yesterday's date. So if we start our week on Sunday,
yeah.
Then yes, it is.
Yeah, for the week of April 6th, I guess I should say. Everything blurs together.
Yes,
I barely
at this
know
point.
it's a Monday. I'm like scratching lines on the wall as if I'm in a prison cell, just trying to count the days.
Luca is actually doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have no clue what day it is. But anyways,
It's a
welcome.
chalkboard wall, so it's okay.
Oh,
by the way.
that's-
Yeah,
then
go
that-
ahead. Sorry.
That's better. I had a friend growing up who had like a booger wall.
Oh,
He would-
gross.
Yeah, he would just he had bunk beds and he would just pick his nose and rub it on the wall, and it was disgusting.
Nice.
Anyways, this is the podcast dedicated to bringing you the news of the Queen City without the filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week we're talking about Corona parties, empty streetcars, last-second weddings, and much, much more.
Welcome to glorious Cincinnati. It is sensational for Cincinnati. It's skyline time. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
So, Alyssa, how was your week this week?
It was good. It felt a little more normal than previous weeks. I mean, obviously I'm still not leaving my house, but I was very productive, got a lot of work done. The kids are, in their rooms doing their schoolwork. They only get, a few hours of work a day.
Yeah.
Well, they're only supposed to get a few hours of work a day. My kids are in there for 5 or 6 hours because they're just slow as molasses and everything. But, but yeah, a lot of work done. But I did my weekly takeout. We did Wild Mike's over here in Delhi, got some wings and some, jalapeno poppers and that kind of stuff.
Yummy.
And got a delivery from North South Baking. Holy moly. So they don't deliver as far out as you do, as you live. They don't generally deliver, but they're doing it right now. It was so good. Like fresh croissants. Mine was a toasted coconut one. Yum.
Oh, this is just bread. Just straight up bread.
It's like, well, yes, we got pastries for breakfast, but we also got like a wild Levain loaf of bread that was insane. I made BLTs with it and it was just amazing. So good. Yeah. Since you can get yeast, I've got to find somewhere to buy my bread because I can't make it.
I was listening to NPR and they talked about like flour and water and making a sourdough yeast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you should try that.
There you go. I'll pull it up.
That sounds like a great idea.
It does sound like a good idea. I've started doing a week-long series of Magnolia table recipes. So my kids and I are becoming the Gaineses for the week. Luca on Wednesday is going to not only make our dinner, but also our dessert. So
Wow.
that's pretty exciting. Yeah.
That is actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I'm getting my first click list order today. So that's the only time I'm leaving the house today is to run to Kroger and pick up I can't go in a grocery store anymore. I can't do it. It's so gross. I did find toilet paper at Target on Saturday. The Incline District has a Facebook page and they posted, P.S. there's toilet paper at Target on Glenway. I literally threw clothes on and ran out of my house. And I got a giant jumbo pack of toilet paper. I was so excited. We were down to our last spare roll.
You know what? It's several people have said that, but we have up where I am, we seem to have plenty of toilet paper. But then I hear people
on down here.
I think it's a Costco thing. Costco seems to have this stuff. I don't know.
Well, I don't think we have Costco. We have Sam's, I think.
Yeah.
Here, and I think it's always sold out.
Well, we just got 2 things of Lysol disinfectant wipes. Yeah.
Look at you. Score. It's like gold.
From Jackie's mother. But it sounds like you had a fun week. I'll let me fill you in on mine.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was actually a pretty social week, even though we should be social distancing.
Yeah.
All right. So Thursday, I had a bunch of fraternity brothers I hadn't talked to in years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let's do a Zoom meeting. We're all sitting around at home. It's been a while. It's been for some of them, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a happy hour with 9 of us
nice.
7 of us. And it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
Ton of fun. So that's definitely a silver lining that's come out of this. We went to Bangkok Terrace. Well, we took food from Bangkok Terrace,
right.
which is a Thai place kind of near the office in Blue Ash. And it was excellent. Yeah. Jackie loved it. She's like, I could eat this every day.
Yeah. I love Thai.
Yeah, it felt like a real meal, which we hadn't had in a while.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, let's go to a park and eat it. Right. Because I guess you will do that. So we went to Summit Park and we put the bikes in the back thinking that maybe it'd be empty. Place was packed. Too many people. We kind of did one loop and I'm like, we got to get out of here. It's a little creepy. So we got some ice cream, went home. And then Saturday we kind of broke the social distancing thing. Our cul-de-sac, some folks were like, hey, we're going to have a little get together. We'll get some food and we'll just kind of hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we'd be sitting on in the cul-de-sac, social distancing.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, where's everybody? And then we walked around to their backyard and they had Eli's Barbecue and Buca de Beppo and a guy playing music in the corner, which I think is nice because there's a lot of musicians that just have no money and they're not getting any bookings because everything's closed.
Yeah.
And then everyone was kind of social distancing. And then we did tequila shots. And then that kind of screwed all that up.
See, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
But here was the reasoning. All right, guys, do you know anyone with COVID-19? I'm like, no. He's like, do you? This guy next to me, within 5 feet of me. He's like, no. He's like, see, there's nothing wrong. It's like, well, maybe that's because it's working. But at the same, that wasn't my logic
also,
that night.
They could also have it and not know.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Because the governor of Georgia apparently just announced a stay-at-home order and was like, "Oh, I just found out yesterday that you could not be showing symptoms and still be passing this along." And it's
he also opened the beaches. That's a whole nother story. But anyways,
it was stupid or lying. I don't know.
So we hope that there was no cross-contamination, but we felt a little guilty the next day. We're like, you know what else is weird is if I watch TV shows and I see people shake hands. My mind's like, oh, they just touched each other, or oh man, they're not being responsible. So it's ingrained in my head. But but it was actually a very fun week.
Good.
Believe it or not, let's just hope that I can't pass it to you because obviously I have it now in your mind through a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I don't think it transmits that way.
Yeah.
But all right, well, we do have 3 COVID-19 updates for you this week. Governor Mike DeWine is making stricter rules on social distancing. Stores that are still open now will have to enforce a limit on how many people can be inside at one time. The number depends on each store, but almost comply, including grocery stores. I can say when I was in Target on Saturday, I did feel safe. There weren't that many people in there. There were a couple of people that literally there was a group of guys just walking around, just
Yeah.
to get out of the house. It looked like they didn't even have baskets or anything. It was annoying. But the cashiers they had everything set up so that everybody was 6 feet apart. You're not even allowed to come up until you're called. The cashiers were wiping everything down with wipes every time someone touched the pin pad. I didn't even have to touch the thing or anything. She scanned my ID because I got some beer, and then I just scanned my phone. My wallet's on there. I don't even have to touch the pin pad. None of it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That was nice. But yeah, Kroger just still feels icky to me. And they may have changed things up this week. Maybe I know they were trying to get wipes for their in Purell for their cashiers. They did not have them before. So I'm hoping that they were able to do that, but super happy about the clickless thing. But yeah, I know in Queens, my sister sent a picture. There was a line all the way up the block to get into the grocery store. And she was worried that it was because the grocery store is busy, but it was because they were doing this. They were having a strict limit of how many people could be in there.
I kind of like that rule moving forward.
Yeah.
Too. That's one of those stick around rules.
Just in general.
Yeah, because
sure.
It's usually crazy.
There's like a bouncer at the door
anyway.
with a little clicker.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely one that should stick around. It would be nice.
Yeah.
In additional news, not everyone is abiding to the state mandated social distancing. Yeah, those
judgy face right here.
Those creeps. Late Friday night, a live stream posted to Facebook and YouTube showed a large gathering of people at a Shell gas station OTR. The man holding the camera, Rashawn Davis, can be heard yelling, "Man, F-word Corona," several times. Davis was arrested on Saturday, and an investigation is in place, as well as more patrols in the area. 55,000 people viewed the live stream. Did you see the video?
I have seen the video, yes.
Yeah, they're just having a party.
They were just having a party. The whole street was blocked up. People were standing on cars. The social media backlash and the racial tensions surrounding some of the comments have been pretty intense. Somebody posted it on the Cincinnati Politics, Greater Cincinnati Politics Facebook group, and got pretty heated. Yeah. But
yeah. So I mean, he looks he looks like the type that would probably not abide by the social mandating. So if you see his mugshot,
Cincinnati police is posting somebody that got arrested. I don't know if it was this guy, but it was a guy that was very like Post Malone with like the tattoo on his face, and
it's that guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, they got him then.
Yeah. Have you seen the Post Malone filter that you can get?
No, that's awesome.
So like up at our school, all these teachers recorded little videos welcoming the kids back because this is our first week of distance learning, which is totally chaotic. So my kids have no clue what to do. We're setting up printers. We're like trying to just figure out how to even use the programs.
Oh, geez.
It was a mess this morning. But some of the teachers was there with like his two little kids, and they all had Post Malone, tattoos all over their face. Like, awesome. Hey, we're just hanging out. We got some tattoos. And like there's a little like 1-year-old baby with writing all over his cheek and stuff. So it was great.
That's funny. That's awesome. Yeah. Luckily ours has been pretty easy. Almost like everything's pretty much either on Google Classroom or they go to like websites like Kahoots and things like that they already use in class.
Right.
So it's been pretty smooth. Really happy about that. But it's also, I think, a testament to the fact that my kids are a little older. So the younger kids that don't really use Google Classroom, like the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, so the Taste of Cincinnati has officially been pushed out from Memorial Day to July 4th weekend, since it's unclear if even that date will be okay to return to the streets with a couple thousand people. I mean, it seems like Ohio is doing a really, really good job flattening the curve for sure. But it still seems like I just don't know when those of us that are like freaked out, like I can't even go into Kroger. And I'm not like a huge germaphobe. I'm one of those ladies that's like, let him eat off the floor. It'll build his immune system. What I mean? And I don't know when I'm going to feel safe being in a giant crowd like that again.
Well, I would say the media is very, I mean, you can't read anything. I mean, we're even talking about it nonstop. I think it's just, it's such a topic of conversation that everyone is so fearful of it that it's, I think it's driving everybody a little bit nuts.
Yeah,
right now.
I think once we can get that, they've got apparently new testing that can tell you if you've got the antibodies, like if you've fought it and been through it. And then once we can get everybody tested, so it's like, okay, you don't have it, you can go out. You've had it already, you're immune, you can go out.
Yeah.
I think that's going to really help.
That'd be nice.
Mental state.
Yeah,
for sure. All right. So what's going on in business this week, Brett?
Well, in business, I read this article, and I don't think I've ever gone from this is complete BS to, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because I'm not a fan of the streetcar. I know that you are.
Too many people who are.
Well, anyways, so the Cincinnati Health Commissioner temporarily shut down the streetcar last week due to coronavirus, but now it will be running without any passengers. Running the streetcar as usual with 29 employees costs roughly $320,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Bringing the streetcar back into service after a long break could mean anywhere from $300,000 to $1 million in maintenance fees and recertification. Running the streetcar with a skeleton crew of 12 staff members and no passengers would cost roughly $138,000 a month. For the 3-month shutdown period, that would be $414,000 in total costs. That's nearly $500,000, but Cincinnatians won't be getting back. Mm-hmm. I guess they're saying knowing that it's $414,000 is better than the $1 million maintenance concern. But they don't know if it's going to be back in 3 months.
Correct.
And a lot of the recertification, I don't think it's they have to service the tracks. They have to, they said it's a cold start getting it started back up. I think it's more of a personnel and recertifying the people in case they lose them or they get jobs or something like that. But it's hard for me to believe that. See, now I'm going back to not agreeing with this article because I read it, I'm like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, no, I would still just shut it down because you know what? It's going to save us a ton of money if we just don't put it back into operation ever. Right?
Well, I don't think that's true because the reason we have to keep it, even though nobody uses it and it's a complete money suck, is that we got a bunch of federal money to do it. And if we stop using it, then they take all that money back. And then we're out like a ton of money. I have no figures for you right now. Maybe Ryan can flesh this out a little in the cleanup. But I do remember reading something like that. It's ridiculous. It's just a useless mechanism. Like I can walk faster than the dumb thing. And I walk from one side to the other of downtown with no problem. And it's just dumb. If it went to Clifton or if it went, it just needs to be better. If it went to the west side, to the east side, if it was bigger, it would make more sense. I'm all for public transport, but this isn't a stupid thing.
So can we not, it doesn't go that fast. So can we not, and they have live people driving each one of these, sort of, or just maybe being there to hit the brake.
Something like that. Yeah. It needs its own dedicated lane. It can't be in lanes with traffic. It's.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We don't have a dedicated lane, but at the same time, can there be a guy with just a bunch of cameras, and you could probably outsource that and not have to have somebody on there and just have them drive around or, there's a lot of self-driving technology. You could probably drive itself, honestly.
Yeah.
So there's probably some ways to cut costs. I don't know. I've decided that I'm now against keeping the thing running.
Yes.
Or why don't we just keep the skeleton crew, running at this, whatever this slim rate is of $138,000 a month when all the people come back.
Right.
Because what are they doing? Are they taking out routes? I know they cut people, but it's not like they have ticket takers.
No.
So who are they cutting? The people in charge of cleaning the cars? Maybe. That's $200,000 a month.
Oh God. You never know.
I don't know. Let's move on to
everything.
Let's move on to politics. That'll make sense.
Yeah, that sounds so much more fun. So pretty easy this week.
Billions and billions and billions.
Just please note that Ohio's 2020 primary election has been moved to vote by mail through April 28th. That was the election that was supposed to take place in March that they canceled due to social distancing. Here are some important things you need to know. If you already voted by mail or in person early, you're good and your vote will count. All polling locations are and will continue to be closed. If you haven't voted already, you must vote by mail. To get a ballot by mail, you need to request one. You can download it online at myohiovote.com and mail it in. You can call your county board of elections and have it sent to you, or you can pick one up at one of 12 local Kroger stores that will have the forms. We will have that link and a list of those Krogers that will have the forms in our show notes. Make sure your ballots are postmarked by at least April 28th.
There you go. We already voted early. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, you guys had a levy. That was definitely important.
And we had a levy, and I thought, oh, man, no, none of the old folks are going to come out who vote no against the levy because they're afraid of getting the virus. And they got canceled. Like, that was the one that got canceled like the night of. Yeah,
I remember waking up in the morning going, do I have to go vote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So now there's people who are kind of running the campaign, and they have voter data to pretty much know which houses vote yes or no on stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're just driving around basically giving ballots. Well, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for whatever, but I think, I think it's one of those things where, hey, we're going to try to get, those ballots, the absentee ballots to the people we know are going to vote yes. And then if you kind of assist them with that, then I'm sure it'll help.
Yeah, and Wisconsin actually their legislature has refused to move their election, and they have some pretty big things on the ballot, I think. And so they are scheduled to have an in-person election tomorrow. The polling people have quit by the thousands. Yeah. They're bringing in the National Guard to keep some of the election places. Yeah. And the people in charge of the legislature are saying they don't want, it'll be confusing if they move it, or if they move to all mailing ballots. But what's confusing is most of the polling places are closed.
Yeah.
Because they can't staff them. Right. So you're going to go to your normal polling place and there's going to be a sign that says you have to go here. And like, what percentage of people are going to be like, okay, let me go to this other place? Or they're just going to be like, whatever, I tried, forget it. I'm already risking getting sick by being out here. Who cares? So, it's crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, here's a quick Cincy sports update. Mm-hmm. Trump held a call over the weekend with all the professional sports leagues and indicated that they hope to have sports resumed with fans in attendance by August or September. Right? So now, but meanwhile, we're going to have Taste of Cincinnati on July 4th.
Well, yeah. I think that's optimistic.
If that is the case, you can probably consider the MLS, MLB, and NBA seasons canceled or heavily, heavily modified. The NFL season could be salvaged, but this should all be taken with a grain of salt, as no one knows when exactly it'll be safe to get a few thousand people together. Rest in peace, sports.
Yeah.
So, which, you know what, we were posed to have a really good baseball team, so that's a bummer. Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot of big moves in the NFL season. We're going to draft a new quarterback. Yep. So there's a lot of exciting things. But over the weekend, I was kind of longing for some sort of sports. And you may not know this, but WrestleMania took place. Okay,
of course,
over the weekend.
Of course.
But the way they did it, there were no fans.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of theatrics, but there was a couple guys doing commentary, and then the wrestlers wrestled, and there was a referee there, right? Mm-hmm. But it was just like a big lit, empty stadium. Very odd, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it. Like normally I don't know. There's something weird when you actually hear them talking to each other instead of just the crowd noise kind of.
They very much interact with the crowd, I feel like, in general.
Yeah, now they're just kind of like interacting with each other.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, so we tried to watch that, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, we can do more of these sports, right? Tennis. There's no reason why we can't watch tennis.
Singles.
Yeah,
maybe not doubles. A lot of sports have been doing like
what if we did like
games.
Nah, I don't need to see that. Like I don't want to see old stuff where I can Google who wins, right? No.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could do married couples, doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or
there you go.
Partners.
Mm-hmm.
So we can watch that golf. We could totally watch golf.
Well, the golf courses are all still open.
Yeah, one guy at a time.
Yep.
One guy at a time, one cameraman per golfer. We can watch that. They're talking about doing a game of horse for basketball and airing that. Anything X Games, right? Skateboarding, slalom skiing, jumping, pole vaulting. We can watch that. Boxing, be fun.
I don't like boxing when things are normal.
There's a lot of stuff that we should be able to watch. If we can watch WrestleMania.
Right. I think it comes down probably a lot to like the crews. Like there's so many people behind the scenes that you don't really think about. I mean, when DeWine's press conferences switched over to, they left a bunch of the behind the scenes staff out because one of them actually got sick. They had so much technical difficulty just trying to figure this out with like a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a huge, I mean, not that they couldn't do it if this is going to be months and months and months, but I think they would have to like really figure out how to do that.
Well,
technically.
What else do they have to do right now?
Fair.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Yeah. So entertainment, we have 3 stories for you this week. If my mouse would work properly in my scroll. Anyway, so the Cincinnati Center City Development Corp, which we all call 3CDC because who wants to keep saying that, raised over $75,000 for Cincy small businesses over the weekend. They did so through the Cincy Card Connection program, which launched last Thursday at noon. People could buy gift cards for downtown and OTR businesses in exchange for a free gift of the same value to a different business, paid for by 3CDC. 479 businesses were on the eligible list, and in less than a day, $75,000 worth of gift cards were purchased. The hope is that the gift card purchases help businesses stay afloat for now until society opens back up again. Just so you do know, the matching gift cards were sold out by Friday at 10:30 a.m. I obviously submitted my email for the gift card that I had purchased at 10:31 a.m. and did not get a matching gift card, but it doesn't matter.
So you knew about this and you participated in this.
I did. I actually, and I had bought the gift card before I knew about it. I didn't buy the gift card going, ooh, yay, I'll get another gift card. One of the little boutiques that I shop in OTR called the Native One, she sources all her stuff from a lot of like factories in LA and things like that. And so she's using her sources to get masks made and sent to local hospitals. And so she was asking people to help her with that. And I think for $10 you could get like 5 masks made or something like that. Yeah. So I gave her money for that and was like, oh, well, I'll also just buy myself a gift card to use when she opens back up. And then I heard about this and sent my email in and I was like, oops, they sent me an email later that day and they're like, oh, sorry.
Something I forgot to mention. One of the other highlights over the weekend was I watched the Cincinnati Zoo feed a full watermelon to a hippo.
Did you?
And they just eat the whole thing.
Yeah, just like you popping a like.
I don't know why I felt the need to bring it up right now. Maybe it was because the story, my mind wandered a little bit in that.
Okay.
But that's stuck with me.
Okay.
Moving on.
Maybe you were taking in the next one.
Still need your medical marijuana, Alyssa? Well, the old days are here again, right? Mm-hmm. Have no fear. The Ohio Board of Pharmacy has temporarily allowed dispensaries to make sales in the parking lot or on the sidewalk outside, just like we did growing up, right?
Yeah.
While delivery is not permitted, curbside orders are allowed as long as the transaction is visible by security cameras and security personnel are present. So a slightly more legitimate drug deal. That's good. Right?
Yeah.
Did you know that if you have a green card to purchase marijuana, you can also select 2 people who can go and buy on your behalf?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So if you're like, I ain't going out, you can just be like, I'll have my buddy go get it.
Yeah.
And, like how, okay. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, right? Because like people can pick up your pharmacy orders. Yeah,
that's true. Well, and I guess if you're somebody that's like able to use it for cancer or whatever, and you can't just go out and buy your own weed because you're like bedridden or something.
Well, do they also limit the amount you can get, I assume?
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. Ryan will have to check for us, but I would think they would. Yeah. So in our most fun story this week, on March 23rd, 2011, Will Hollingsworth asked Emma Brodsky to be his girlfriend, with them being 15 and 16 at the time. Fast forward 9 years, the couple were planning on getting married on that same date, but as with everything else, Corona got in the way, with Mike DeWine's stay-at-home order being enforced at 11:59 p.m. on March 23rd. Will and Emma had to cancel their ceremony and reception, but still wanted to get married, or else they'd have to wait until next March 23rd, a full year later. So what did the couple do? Emma married Will at the law firm she works at, thanks to one of her coworkers being officially ordained. And then they went home, got some golden lamb delivered, as one should, and are now happily married and quarantined together. That is so cute. We have a family wedding that's been rescheduled till December. They're still going to go ahead and get married, just with like them and their parents.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that was on a Monday, right? Isn't the 23rd on a Monday?
Sure.
Does that not strike you as odd? Like, I think it's romantic that, yes, it's nice to get married on the day that you met, right?
Well,
but are you gonna have a wedding and a reception on a Monday night?
I mean, it would probably be a heck of a lot cheaper, but I guess it just depends on how important it is to you. So Sandro and I actually wanted to get married on the anniversary of our first date. We always counted our anniversary as June 6th. That was for our first date. And but that was a Wednesday. So
what year was that?
That was 2004.
Oh,
so
because if it was 2006, that'd be a really weird anniversary.
Yeah, right. But so we moved it to the 9th. So we kind of have that June 6th and June 9th, and we just kind of make a week.
You find the weekend around that.
We did, yeah.
So I don't know. I probably would have gotten married on the 21st.
Yeah,
out of respect to the guests. But it's a nice story.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that situation. Where I had to rush to get married. So I don't know what they were feeling or going through. I don't know if, but even like, I don't know. I don't know if that date is that important that I'd say, you know what, I love you and all, but I don't want to marry you unless it's on this certain day. The idea of waiting a full year.
Yeah.
Unless this dude's like, I don't really want to marry you. You're kind of pressuring me. So I'll do it as long as it's the 23rd. And then he's like, oh, thank goodness this corona's happening. There's no way we're gonna get married. First of all, it's a Monday. No one's going to come. And there's coronavirus. Sorry, honey. I mean, it is what it is. And she's like, oh, wait, I know a guy at my law firm. And he's like, seriously? And then
only you would go here, Brett. Only you.
Well, then they went to, no, they look like a very nice couple, but it was a very non-traditional wedding. So anyways, So what are you doing this weekend? This
weekend, I am doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be continuing my, Magnolia Table Challenge that my kids and I are doing. I mean, hopefully I'll show a house or two, do a couple of virtual showings. I did have one canceled last weekend. Unfortunately, the client got furloughed, but we'll get back to normal and we'll go back out when she's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There should be like, I think there's a way that you could have a business that specializes in what are called fur loans, right?
Right.
And people who are furloughed, like you can buy, I don't know what the car was, but they're like, hey, we'll make your first 6 payments.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I remember you talking about that.
I think if there was like let's do a loan. You're going to get your job back in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Make your first 6 payments. It's called a fur loan.
Love it.
Should be a thing.
Shark Tank.
Should stop what we're doing right now. You know what else? Here's the other idea we had over the weekend. Part of the tequila shots.
Yeah.
Was there's this college kid there, and he always drinks with one beer under the other one, so he holds on to 2 beers because the weight of the bottom one forces you to drink faster. That's what the kids come up with, right? So I'm like, well, there should be a koozie that's 2 cans tall.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if that exists or not, but it makes a ton of sense.
Okay. Hey, get on it.
All right. Anyways, so my weekend is going to be spent patenting and starting multiple businesses.
Yes.
So I got going on.
Love it.
But if you're looking for something to do TV-wise, if you've watched every show that exists right now, although Ozarks just came out, so I'm watching that. Money Heist on Netflix. I got to get into that again. I like that show. But that's one that you have to.
Yeah. Unorthodox just came out. It's a mini series on Netflix. I read the book when it came out. It was super, super interesting. It's about a woman that was an Orthodox Jew in New York and left the Orthodoxy. It doesn't sound on its face super.
No, I watched the little intro preview, and I thought this is going to be a little too emotionally deep for me to get around. I'm going to go back to the money laundering show and the bank robbing show. But HBO announced it will be releasing over 500 hours of free programming for a limited time without a subscription on their HBO Now and HBO Go services. The programming includes 9 different shows, including Ballers, Barry, Silicon Valley, The Wire, and more. 20 different movies, Detective Pikachu, Lego Movie 2, Empire of the Sun, and more, and 10 documentaries, McMillions, which I want to see. I think that's where the scam we talked about with the McDonald's like Monopoly pieces.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what it is. I don't know. It could have been done. Anyways, but no Game of Thrones, Chernobyl, and Westworld will not be on there. I mean, they have to get some people to actually pay for content. But I'm excited for that too. So I don't know when that's happening. Maybe Ryan can fill us in on those dates because I want to make sure we take advantage of that window of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's also a gaming option, Cincy Art in Animal Crossing. Are you one of the few million people playing Animal Crossing right now in quarantine?
I have no clue what that is.
I don't either.
Is it like Farmville or something? I think
maybe.
It's little Sims, make your own little thing, grow farm.
Maybe. I was reading this compilation of this woman was spending some of her quarantine time on Reddit, and she found a bunch of like, it's kind of like a kids do the darndest things kind of compilation she put together. And one of them was a guy that tweeted out that when he was 6, he made his screen name on Animal Crossing Sex. And then he couldn't change it back and he freaked out and he like smashed the game card for Animal Crossing or whatever. And he's like, I've been living with this my whole life. So wow. That's my only Animal Crossing reference. But yeah, you can now include real art from the Cincinnati Art Museum. Head to the Art Museum's website for specific codes to get cool art to hang on your virtual walls. You probably don't understand that at all. Yeah, you're right, Ryan. You're right. We don't. But the youths will, he says.
Ask the kids.
Yeah.
Ask the kids.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay. Well, hope everybody has a really safe and, productive week, and everybody is enjoying spending time with their families, and nobody's ready to kill each other yet. We're still doing good here. But that is all for This Week in Cincinnati. Since you are all stuck indoors, you may as well do us a favor and share this podcast on your social media, as well as rate us and review us on iTunes. We are very close to just blowing up here This Week in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for the cleanup with our producer, Ryan Taulbee, as he corrects all of the mistakes and misinformation we tried to feed you as fact throughout this episode. For Brett and myself, have an amazing week this week in Cincinnati.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cleanup with producer Ryan. I am your lovely producer, separating the fact from fiction, giving you the truth versus the lies. Let's get into it. We don't have a lot to talk about. Streetcar money. So apparently the streetcar paid for with federal grants, upwards of $148 million of them. And a clause of that grant says that the streetcar must run every day for 25 years. And any changes to that service must have federal approval. So the act of canceling the streetcar means that they're going to need to go through all this federal bureaucracy bullcrap and have to pay to like get it back online, and they just have to go through all these hoops. Whereas if they just keep it running, they meet the needs of the grant. They don't make any federal people mad. They're still using the money, even if it's not helping anyone. They still are using the money, and they won't lose out on it, I guess. So that's some of the silver lining, I guess, so that they don't have to deal with federal bullcrap. As for the limit of medical marijuana buying in Ohio, I don't know if I found a clear-cut answer, but I believe you can. The only amount available in Ohio is 2.83 grams, or the Ohio 10th, as the Ohio medical marijuana community calls it. And it cannot contain, or contains up to a maximum 23% concentration of THC, or a tier 2 plant can contain 35%. I'm not sure what. I think you can only buy like 90 days worth every 90 days. You can't have like a year's worth of weed on you. It can only be like, it sounds like 3 months worth. And it seems to me like you can only own 8 ounces of a tier 1 plant and 5.3 ounces of a tier 2 plant. So it sounds like, I don't know how much that is. I clearly am very lost in the weed speak. So if you're in the business, hopefully this all makes sense to you. And as for the free HBO content, that's happening now, Brett. It's happening now. You can watch Ballers right now for free. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm going to guess a month or two, maybe more than that, however long this stuff goes down. But you can get free HBO content right now. I think you just go to HBO Go or HBO Now, depending on what you need, and they'll help you out with that. So, with that said, that is all I have to tell you guys. Thanks for listening. Make sure you share and like and subscribe. Like they said, we are just on the brink of really getting to the next echelon here with our audience. So make sure to share and subscribe with all your friends. Review us on iTunes. We really appreciate that. And as always, we will see you guys next week on This Week in Cincinnati. Bye-bye.